Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is time for the November wrap-up and the December TBR or reading list. Since it is now December for both me recording and you watching. Actually, you might be watching in a different month, but upload, it'll be December. This month. Last month I read 9 books, which is a little fewer than I was sort of expecting, bearing in mind I read 5 in the first week. Actually, I read 6 in the first week. But I'm not mad about it. It's not a competition or whatever to read as many books as possible. It's just strange. It feels strange. The first 5 I read were in a video. They were Hooked, Scarred, Wretched, Twisted and Crossed, in that order, by Emily McIntyre. The Never After series. They are spicy, dark romance, contemporary. They weren't quite what I was expecting. If you want to find out more about that, you can watch the video. It's around half an hour long, I think, which isn't bad for 5 books. Next, I read My Sister the Serial Killer, which was very good. I haven't done a video on it. I read it in one night, I believe. Just sort of thought, you know what, I've borrowed this book already, I haven't read it yet, it's gonna need to be returned soon. I'll just read it, and I just straight past bedtime, which isn't terribly like me anymore because I am quite strict with my bedtime, but it was good. It was very good. I didn't actually rate My Sister the Serial Killer, or if I did, I didn't write it down so I can't remember, but it has fully stuck with me, how many days later? It's almost a month later, 3 weeks later, and it's just still sticking with me, and it was really, really good. I fully recommend that. After that, I read Rewitched and Uncharmed, both by Lucy Jane Wood, and both in a video together, which I don't think did very well, but, you know, if you want to find out more about that, then you can watch that video. I thoroughly enjoyed these. They haven't stuck with me in the same way that My Sister the Serial Killer has, but it's not that type of book. They're cozy fantasy rather than, I don't even know what My Sister the Serial Killer counts as, but you can tell by the title it is not cozy. And the last book I finished last month is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. So I was going to do a video on this, and sprayed edge, lovely. And I just sort of never got around to it. I've been very busy and everything. If you do want to see a video on this, I do have thoughts written down in order to write a script to make a video, a review. I really enjoyed this. This was a 5-star for me. It's a young adult book. It has some swearing in it. So it's a little bit more like older young adult book, because young adult is 12 to 18, so it's a bit more like 16 rather than 12. But I mean, I would have read this at 12 and thoroughly enjoyed it anyway, so it depends on your views on that sort of thing. It's a reincarnation story. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. So there's this whole gripping mystery because our main character doesn't know why. So just really recommend that, to be honest. Again, if you want more thoughts on that, more complete thoughts on that, then let me know and I will do a probably like 5-minute video on it, because it's not going to be a reading vlog. Then there was another book that I started reading but haven't finished reading, and I'd planned on finishing reading it, but it is Wicked, and it is a difficult read. Yeah, I have read this before when I was 15, and then it took me longer than I expected to read it as well, and for some reason I didn't expect it this time round. I don't know why. When I was 15, I wanted to finish reading it in time to go on this musicals trip with school and have read it before the musical, and that didn't happen, and I wanted to finish reading this before Wicked for Good came out, and that didn't happen. I got to page 266 of 504, I believe, so about halfway. It is a heavy read, like not physically, I mean, yes physically, but that's not what I mean. The content of it is a lot heavier than I remembered. I remembered it was more serious than the musical by a long shot, but this is intense. I do plan on doing a video on this, but I'm just not sure how I'm going to do it at this point. It's very... I will complete this though, I will finish it, and I am enjoying it. It's difficult to pick up when you're just so tired and you just want to like lay back and relax, and then I do struggle to put it down after I start, so there is that. This means that I've moved very swiftly on to my December TBR/reading list, because obviously finishing this is on that list. Also on that list is The Housemaid, which I borrowed from someone. There's some dust still on it, which I find really funny that it's got dust on it. It's called The Housemaid. So there's a film coming out of this, and I saw the trailer and was like, I want to read the book. So that is my plan. It's a relatively short book. It's a thriller, so it's probably one of those that I want an entire day dedicated to it, because I probably want to just devour it. I was also thinking that I might actually read this before I finish Wicked, just because it feels a little bit like needing a break from Wicked. Next is one that I mentioned in my last wrap-up/reading list, and that is The Crowfolk by Mark Stay. This is a 5-book series, and the 4th one is Christmas themed, so it's just sort of the right sort of time to read these. And so they're on my list, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do at least one video on these. Last one on my list, because I've got it quite small. I say quite small, there are 5 books in The Crowfolk, so this is already arguably 7 books, but I'm not expecting necessarily I need to finish all of these books. The last one is actually a small one. It's A Midwinter's Tale by Lily Hayward. I got this ages ago at an MCM, so I believe it's signed. No. I think we rushed to buy the book, and then we must not have gotten to get it signed in time. But it's only about 200 pages, so pretty short read, and obviously Midwinter's Tale, I think it's going to be a nice little cosy Christmassy-ish thing. A Town in Need, An Extraordinary Cat, A Season for Miracles. I can't remember anything about this really. I remember that it was about a cat, and I think it's from the cat's point of view. But that's it. Curl up with a magical tale as the winter nights draw in, it says on the back. So I'm really quite looking forward to that. It's been looking at me for months now. And just a final little thing that I want to add is something that I've been doing because I am terrible at using bookmarks, remembering to use bookmarks, and reading a book and then looking around like, where's a receipt or an envelope or anything for me to put in this book. But at MCM, there were bookmarks with Mark Stay's books on them. So I have one for The Crowfolk and one for the other series that I've got. And I just fully put that in there, ready. So then I've got a matching bookmark for this book. And I went to Yauk last month, which I did record a video about, but I didn't like it. I do plan on doing some Yauk videos in the future, but not right now. At Yauk, I got a lot of bookmarks, so I'm just going to put a bookmark in each of these books right now. Not this one, because I've actually bought this book, so that's going to be in that book. But I think we need to put a cat bookmark in the cat book, which actually came from the same stand as this one. We've got all these cat bookmarks. It's all about books and cats. Read wonderful books and hug a cat, and then just some like that. I think this one could go quite nicely in here because it sort of matches colour and theme wise. So I'm going to put that in there ready for when I read that. And then for The Housemaid, I think I'll put in It's All About Books and Cats, maybe. And that's just a little tip for if you find yourself doing the same sort of things that I did. I also end up a lot of the time getting all these little business cards and stuff from, oh, this one's also from Yauk, from MCM and Yauk and stuff like that, and I tend to use these because they're normally quite pretty and stuff as well. But it's very rare that I use actual bookmarks, and I've got loads now, so I'm just going to shuffle them into my books, basically, so that they're ready for when I read the books. Let me know which of these books, there's a stack right here which you can't actually see, but let me know which of these books that you're interested in me doing a video review of at the end of me reading them, and maybe I'll do that. I've been thinking about doing just sort of shorter little ones, so like if I do a video on Midwinter's Tale, it's probably going to be a pretty short video. It's a pretty short book. I'm not going to record myself reading it like a reading vlog. It would just be a little yes, I recommend this, this is the star, this is how long it took me to read, that sort of thing. And for anyone wondering why I always say how long it took me to read something, it's just for some sort of frame of reference for how long it might take you. So if I read a book in 7 hours that you take 5 hours to read or 8 hours to read, you can judge it based on that, our reading speeds compared to each other, potentially. And then know roughly how long it'll take. Wait, what? Oh my gosh, I've got a Pokemon card in this. I've got a Pokemon card in A Midwinter's Tale. I remember getting this at the MCM. And I guess I put it in here to keep it safe. Sure, let's put that back. Okay. For a moment I was like, oh, I've got another bookmark in this. I haven't... Anyway, let me know what reading plans you have, or maybe you have plans for watching films every month, and let me know those plans too. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing, and maybe you'll see me next one. Until then, bye.